kid.
She was still like, from them.
Where's my kid?
Thank you. All right, we're back in session. All right, Carrie.
Carrie Povey, Chief Deputy Clerk. I'm just here to see if we can dispose or recycle the shelving units in our vault. They were used for all the criminal case files that obviously are now being scanned into Odyssey, so we no longer need them. Also, the Treasurer's Office has some cabinet storage shelves that match our plat storage shelves in our current vault that they are going to give us in hopes of us helping to organize our current plat storage. If those don't work, we're wanting to dispose of or recycle those as well if another office can't use those.
Okay. I have no problem. Usually we identify them on the paperwork itself and have a picture or something.
Okay.
But
I can get pictures if you need to. They're
If you would do that, so we can
Okay.
include it in the record. Can we do that? Okay.
Okay.
just-
Do we need to come back if we keep the plat shelves or if we,
no, I'd say whatever you're getting rid of, just kind of, we'll include that with the record.
okay,
So either way, whatever it is.
okay.
I think usually, don't you just write out what we're getting rid of and then the commission signs it?
Yeah,
Okay,
just
Don't you know?
to identify
Once you
them.
determine exactly what you're getting rid of, you can let Amy know, she can put it in a resolution.
okay,
Perfect.
Okay?
okay.
Thanks.
That's it.
Come again.
Thank you.
Sure.
Sorry I was late. Early late.
You're good. Perfect. All right. It says the commission. This is the discussion on the cell towers.
Do you want me to kind of get the basis for this?
Yep, come on up.
Christy Davenport, Management Assistant. I received a phone call from a gentleman with Symphony Wireless, and he was interested in purchasing the lease agreement for our cell tower at the fairgrounds or at the event center. And that started a whole discussion on looking at all of the cell tower lease agreements that we have. I have asked Adam McKinney and Nancy for help trying to find who all, because there's different names, associated with these different companies, and what you have before you is all that I could find in the computer. So,
Okay. And honestly, I'd like to have a little more time, a little more discussion on these. Do we put them out for bid? I mean, I don't, just because somebody wrote to us and says, I'd like to take this contract over, I think that there's probably more avenues than just one person or you know what I'm saying?
And the other aspect of this is the one that was done in 2016 was a 25-year lease. Did I read that right? That was in the initial
I
ask.
didn't see that.
Oh, it's a 1-year lease with auto renew.
Adam wanted to come down for this.
Okay.
Do you want me to run grab him?
Yes, please.
Was it a 90-day notice?
Yeah, you said it was actually it was 180, I think,
Oh,
is what you
okay.
said, yeah. Yes, I had asked Adam.
And the
to be
12-month anniversary.
And then the other part, if we're gonna talk about leases and stuff, extended leases, I'd like Commissioner Tovey's input also. We're binding the county for an extended period of time.
Yeah. The other part of that that's kind of interesting is with the new legislation that I think the House passed, and I believe the Senate passed, is, well, no, that doesn't necessarily apply to this. It was the non-appropriated lease,
Yeah.
which that is not.
Hopefully the governor's gonna veto.
Yeah.
Wouldn't this just put a middleman into it?
Well, I know the one up at the event center and stuff, when I was talking to Scott, he didn't even know what was going on with it, and so And then we had the incident with the one down in Downey at the fire station. So I think that we need to have a better conversation about these. There's Adam. Come on up. So I don't know if you've seen the the packet that's been put together
Yeah,
here. Okay.
I've got it here.
There's a couple of things I think that we need to look at them a little deeper, and also if we're gonna start switching leases, and I'd like Commissioner Tubby to also be here if we're gonna bind the county for an extended period of time. That I think that, I mean, we could do it, but I like it when all three of us are here making the decisions in that manner. What's your input?
So, in looking at these, a couple of these, we're on one side on a couple of them and on the other side on the other. So the lava one is one that we lease space on for some of our 700 megahertz radio equipment. So that one, I don't know if we have the ability to change per se. We need to keep that one because the only way we serve that valley is by having that space in that. The other ones on the Olympus and at the landfill, the county owns that land, and we're reselling as the landlord to these other companies. And when I looked at this, somebody had approached me at the beginning of me being the IT person and asked about these. Legal had basically said this is between the commission and these companies, not really IT involved, simply because it's land that the county owns, that we're the landlord versus the tenant. So, from my opinion, those towers, I'm open to whatever the board wants to do with them as far as the leases. The only one that I need to make sure we maintain is that lava lease one, because it's got our radio gear on it to serve the sheriff's department out there.
So would there be a possibility of putting the ones that we own the property on, putting them out for bid?
Yeah, we could, absolutely. I mean, and that was what legal had told me before. It's not really, I don't know how traditionally what IT was involved with the ones where they're actually cell pad sites on county-owned land. It's really the Board of Commissioners who decides who we lease those to and what rate we lease them at. The opposite on the one in Lava, that we're the tenant on that one.
And we just signed that one, didn't we, just a couple years
Just
back?
renewed it, yeah. It looks like it's fairly certain.
Well,
And
Steve Brown was here still.
yeah, and that one's one that we lease
I mean-
simply because we don't have coverage in that deep valley. We've got 700 megahertz radio network to serve the sheriff's department and the fire departments out there.
So these work, we lease the ground to the tower owner, who then contacts the various cell phone providers and leases space on his tower to them.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly right. And then the cell phone providers, are the county's responsibility is to whoever is running those towers, and then they re-sublease it for equipment to get put on them. Yeah. Mhm.
And how some of these evolved was, like on the Verizon one, they approached us and said, hey, you have a great spot that we can add a tower, so that's their equipment. So actually, I'm not sure, we're just leasing the land, so I don't know that we can, if they're wanting to take over this, the dynamics are gonna depend. Yeah, because unless they buy the tower from Verizon, then the agreement with us is Verizon because it's their tower on our land. And if they're wanting to buy the tower, then that would change things. But I don't know that they could take over Verizon's tower without Verizon's consent.
That makes sense.
Okay, well, it looks to me like we need to do a little more homework on these and find out and see, especially legal.
Yeah, and I'd simply separate that lava one as we're the tenant on that one. We're leasing space on that tower. I wouldn't include that in any discussions as to, offering up for bid to these other companies. So.
Okay. Okay.
Good, I agree then.
Okay, we'll dig a little deeper and, like I say, see what our rights and what everybody else's rights are before we try to give somebody else's rights away.
Okay,
Thank you.
perfect.
Thank you. All right. Scott.
Annie's in the hot seat today. There's nothing but love here.
These are revised. It's got the amount.
Okay,
Good morning, everybody.
good morning.
I'm Annie Hughes with the Bannock County Event Center. And this is
I'm Lori Craney. I'm the Director of Elementary Ed for the school district.
So she is wanting to use the Championship Field and Pavilion 2 for a 5th grade field day on May 4th and May 18th, and would like to waive the fee, which is, you guys turn to the back page, it'd be $450 that they would be asking to waive for the 2-day event total for the field and the pavilion rental. Do you want to tell them some about it?
Yep. So we divide our students in half so that we wouldn't have all 900 of them there both days. So about 450 on each day, and then from 10 to 1. And this year our PE teachers have challenged our students to run 100 miles. And so this would give them an opportunity to really crank in some of those miles to reach that goal. So we want to have half of them be running the perimeter while we have activities going on that championship field. We'll have things like obstacle courses, frisbee, those kinds of things that we'll be running while the students are there, and just giving them an opportunity to be moving and out and about and trying to reach that goal.
I like it.
Do you know how many of them are close to that goal, or?
I don't right off the top of my head. I know some of them are quite close, yeah.
Really?
And they've been running during PE time, and then we, Portland Health Trust bought an app so that we can log their miles, so they all have a little QR code, and as they run, they run by and they show their badge, and then it logs their miles for them. So it's kind of a cool event, and they've been getting little trinkets along the way to keep encouraging them. So, after you run 10 miles, you get something, 20 miles.
Nice.
That's pretty amazing.
That is.
900 children.
Yeah. Any
I must say,
questions?
no, I think it's great to get the kids up there doing that, so.
Good. I know that a lot of them probably haven't been up there, so that'll be a really good opportunity also to showcase that and to, take them up there to see, what all is available, so.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the contract with the school district for the 5th grade field day and waive the fees as requested.
Motion, all in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good luck with your event.
Yeah, come on up and visit us that day.
We'll have to do that.
Okay, so our next contract is for Pocatello School District as well. They're having an all-city middle school track meet on May 4th. And they're wanting to use, because they're going to be shuffling kids in on the buses, so they're wanting to use the parking lot between the soccer fields on Olympus to drop kids off, pick them up. There's no fee for that, so that's why we brought it in front of the commissioners to see if you guys.
So this is the one right off of Olympus, up on
The big
on
gravel
top.
area.
Okay.
And this is Crystal. She's filling in for Tanya Wilkes because Tanya's out of the country.
Yeah, I'm a middle school AD.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with this neither.
Okay.
No, it's all good. So, Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the junior high track meet request as presented.
I just wanted to say hi and give you a
Okay.
hug.
Okay.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. Thank you.
Thank
So
you,
what-
Crystal, for coming.
So are you just shuttling back and forth between Highland High School? Is that why Highland High School's on here?
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
primarily it will also serve as parent and spectator parking, since there's not very much parking up around Iron Horse Stadium.
Okay.
It'll be all 800 athletes at once.
Okay. We'll have a motion. All in favor say aye.
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 Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks.
Crystal. It was good to see you.
Good to see you. Have a great week.
You too. Okay, and then our last contract is for Highland High School. It's spring break, so our little gal couldn't make it. But it's a Make-A-Wish color run. They're just going to be running through the parking lot of the wellness complex. And again, there's no fee. They're just going to be, so she said it will be a fundraiser for Highland Annual Make-A-Wish. They're doing it for a girl named Reba. She's a 9-year-old girl with cancer. This will kick off all of Highland's activities. We are running an 5K and cutting through the complex parking lot.
Which parking lot? That's what bothered me. I mean,
So, the main one where the pond is,
The big long one.
yeah.
well,
That's the
I guess
I
my
don't know how
question
to
is, why are
explain
they
it.
running in the parking lot and not off, off the side? I don't want them running in the parking lot.
Right, well, maybe they could just do the,
We
and
just
how many
run on
kids
the
are coming to?
Walking path.
Because there's going to be about 100, so we could maybe tell them they need to do the walking.
So there's still a part that, where the walking path cuts through the parking lot.
Uh-huh.
And so, I would just make sure that that is the part that they're talking about, that doesn't impact traffic.
No, barricaded off.
Yeah. So just maybe put up some cones or something to draw more attention to it. But really little to no impact to our operation.
If they're crossing that, maybe they should have a crossing guard or something to stand there
That's what I was
with a
thinking.
little stop sign, stop.
So we do have a lot of the 5Ks that use the facility have to cross that area. And so we haven't at this point put up anything to stop those. We've just kind of let the race organizers deal with that. It's something that we can talk with her about, and if we want to put something in for safety, we can definitely, I would put that responsibility back on
Right.
them
No,
to do that. We could provide some of those cones, some traffic.
Yeah, it just, the way it sounded, we're running through the parking lot, and I don't like that.
because we all know people go through that parking lot fairly quickly at
Yeah,
times.
they
Yeah,
do.
for sure.
Absolutely.
So that would be my only request, is that you do talk to them,
Yeah.
see if they can provide some kind of safety
I'll have her
measure.
come in and meet with Scott and I, and we'll figure out the
Okay.
safety
Okay.
for them.
Mr. Chair, I make a motion that we approve the request for Highland High School and the fun run, Make-A-Wish color run.
And I guess that's the other question I have. Are they gonna be shooting off powder, paint, what, if it's a color run? Where?
I don't know that. And we
what-
don't have any restrictions against that kind of stuff.
Yes, we do, right here.
Against the general public doing something like that. Like if the general public went out there and shot off some things, we don't have anything that prohibits that. So, outside of the name, I haven't read anything in the event details that lead us to believe that they're going to be doing that, but I don't know. So I could gather some more information on that and essentially ensure that they're going to do something in a way that they would clean up any mess that they made.
That's what I want them
So-
responsible for cleaning.
So the two things that we would verify is they would clean up any mess that is made, and that they would ensure that there's safe
So let's,
crossing procedures.
let me amend that then. Mr. Chair, make a motion that we approve the Make-A-Wish color run with the conditions of, number one, providing safety support as they cross the road, and number two, if there's any color explosions, that they're responsible for cleaning up whatever color is left behind. How's that?
Okay. And
And
there's
I would-
no fee associated with this.
They are charging money to participate in it. I think it's $10 per person, and that's where their fundraiser comes for the Make-A-Wish. So the fee they're charging to participate in the fun run is going towards this Make-A-Wish.
It's
Going towards,
$10.
specifically towards this, I think it's a young lady.
But the facilities that they're asking to use, we don't have a fee schedule for.
And I
Because
believe that-
my requirements are always if there's a fee schedule and they're asking for that, they need to come before us.
Yeah, there is not a fee. And she would have been here. She is out of the country.
Is it spring break? But I'm
So-
assuming that it's at Highland, so
They will start there.
they will
and run
start and
down
do
around.
anything there. They just want to run through our parking lot and go on. I don't think they're planning on using it other than that.
But there is not a fee.
Okay.
It's the use of the facility.
So we have a motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I have a lawyer from Boise that wants to do a Zoom meeting, and I says, no, you're asking for $16,000? come before us.
Those dirty lawyers.
Yep, the mills.
Always making their own rules.
Breaking the regular rules,
Okay, with that being said,